Hello and welcome to November's little offering of scenes. Now, as promised, we've managed to get together the appropriate bits of the company to do just three scenes, well, two scenes and an extract from Henry IV Part 2, just to continue and conclude the sort of most significant bits of the story before we hop on to do Henry V in full later in November. So we're going to start with the Geraldine and various of her counselors as poor King Henry, who is suffering in health, is struggling to keep himself and his mission and his country together. So here we go straight into our first scene from Henry IV, a part two.
Go, call the Earls of Surrey and of Warwick, but ere they come, bid them all read these letters and well consider of them. How many thousand of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse. How have I frighted thee that thou wilt no more weigh my eyelids down and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why rather sleep liest thou in smoky cribs upon uneasy pallets stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night fliest to thy slumber, than in the perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sounds of sweetest melody. O thou dull god, why liest thou with the viled in loathsome beds? Leaves the kingly coach a watch case or a common alarm bell? Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast seal up the ship boy's eyes and rock his brains in cradle of the rude and imperious surge? And in the visitation of the winds who take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them with deafening clamours in the slippery clouds, that with the hurly death itself awakes? Canst thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king? Then happy low, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown.
Many good morrows to your majesty.
Is it good morrow, lords?
'Tis 1 o'clock and past.
Why then, good morrow to you all, my lords. Have you read the letters that I sent you?
We have, my liege.
Then you perceive the body of our kingdom, how foul it is, what rank diseases grow, and with what danger, near the heart of it.
It is but as a body yet distempered, which to his former strength may be restored with good advice and little medicine. My lord Northumberland will soon be cooled.
Oh, heaven, that one might read the book of fate and see the revolution of the times make mountains level, and the continent, weary of solid firmness, melt itself into the sea, and other times to see the beachy girdle of the ocean and too wide for Neptune's hips. How chances mocks and changes fill the cup of alteration with diverse liquors. 'Tis not 10 years gone since Richard and Northumberland, great friends, did feast together, and in 2 years after were they at wars. It is but 8 years since this Percy was the man nearest my soul, who like a brother toiled in my affairs, and laid his life, his love and life under my foot. Yea, for my sake, even to the eyes of Richard gave him defiance. Which of you is by? You, cousin Neville, as I remember, when Richard, with his eye brimful of tears, then checked and rated by Northumberland, did speak these words, now proved a prophecy: Northumberland, thou ladder, by the which my cousin Bolingbroke ascends my throne. Though then, heaven knows, I had no such intent, but that necessity so bad the state, that I and greatness were compelled to kiss. The time shall come, thus he did follow it, the time will come that foul sin gathering head shall break into corruption. So went on, foretasting this same time's condition and the division of our amity.
There is a history in all men's lives, figuring the nature of the time deceased, the which observed a man may prophesy with a near aim of the main chance of things as yet not come to life, which in their seeds and weak beginnings lie entreasured. Such things become the hatch and brood of time, and by the necessary form of this, King Richard might create a perfect guess that great Northumberland, then false to him, would at that seed grow to a greater falseness, which should not find a ground to root upon unless on you.
Are those things then necessities? Then let us meet them like necessities, and that same word even now cries out on us. They say the bishop and Northumberland are 50,000 strong.
Cannot be, my lord. Rumour doth double like the voice and echo the numbers of the feared. Please it your grace to go to bed. Upon my life, my lord, the powers that you already have sent forth shall bring this prize in very easily. To comfort you the more, I have received a certain instance that Glendower is dead. Your Majesty hath been this fortnight ill, and these in seas and hours perforce must addle unto your sickness.
I will take your counsel. And were these inward wars once out of hand, we would, dear Lord, unto the Holy Land.
Okay, that's one. Next scene we're going to do is everyone's favorite scene. Well, I think one of the most significant scenes. We absolutely had to do it. Poor King Henry is now pretty much lying on his deathbed. We have the crown on his pillow, and the crown is literally going to have to be passed, as well as metaphorically the role of king being passed to Hal. And we just have to do the scene. So we have Georgia, we have Geraldine, we have as many of us, you're going to see me as well, doing our very best to see the hollow crown pass from Henry IV to Henry V. So let's see how that goes.
Now, lords, if heaven doth give successful end to this debate that bleedeth at our doors, we will our youth lead on to higher fields, and draw no swords but what we sanctified. Our navy is addressed, our power collected, our substitutes in absence well invested, and everything lies level to our wish. Only we want a little personal strength. And pause us till those rebels now afoot come underneath the yoke of government.
Both which we doubt not, but your Majesty shall soon enjoy.
Humphrey, my son of Gloucester, where's the prince, your brother?
I think he's gone to hunt, my lord, at Windsor.
And how accompanied?
I do not know, my lord.
Is not his brother Thomas of Clarence with him?
No, my good lord, he is in presence here.
What would my lord and father?
Nothing but well to thee, Thomas of Clarence. How chance they are not with the prince thy brother? He loves thee, and thou dost neglect him, Thomas. Thou hast a better place in his affections than all thy brothers. Cherish it, my boy, and noble offices thou mayst effect of mediation after I am dead between his greatness and thy other brethren. Therefore admit him not, blunt not his love, nor lose the good advantage of his grace by seeming cold or careless of his will. For he's gracious if he be observed, he hath a tear for pity, and a hand open as day for melting charity. Yet, notwithstanding being incensed, he's flint, as humorous as winter, and as sudden as flaws congealed in the spring of day. His temper, therefore, must be well observed. Chide him for faults, but do it reverently, when you perceive his blood inclined to mirth. But being moody, give him line and scope, till that his passions, like a whale on ground, confound themselves with working. Learn this, Thomas, and thou shalt prove a shelter to thy friends, a hoop of gold to bind thy brothers in. that the united vessel of the blood mingled with venom of suggestion, as force perforce the age will power it in, shall never leak, though it do work as strong as aconite or rash gunpowder.
I shall observe him with all care and love.
Why art thou not at Why art thou not at Windsor with him, Thomas? Oh, sorry.
He's not there today. He dines in London.
Oh, and how accompanied? Canst thou tell that?
With Points and all his other continual followers.
Most subject is the fattest soil to weeds, and he, the noble image of my youth, is overspiced with them. Therefore, my grief stretches itself beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart where I do share in forms imaginary the unguided days and rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors. For when his headstrong riot hath no curb, when rage and hot blood are his counsellors, when means and lavish manners meet together, oh, with what wings shall his affections fly, and towards fronting peril and opposed decay?
My gracious lord, you look beyond him quite. The prince but studies his companions, like a strange tongue, wherein to gain the language 'tis needful that the most immodest word be looked upon and learned, which once attained, your highness knows, comes to no farther use, but to be known and hated. So, like gross terms, the prince will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers, and their memory shall be as pattern or a measure live by which his grace must meet the lives of others, turning past evils to advantages.
'Tis seldom when the bee doth leave her comb to the dead carrion. Who is here, Westmoreland?
Health to my sovereign, and new happiness added to that I am to deliver. Prince John, your son, doth kiss your grace's hand. Mowbray, the bishop, Scroop, Hastings, and all are brought to the correction of your law. There is not now a rebel's sword unsheathed, but peace puts forth her olive everywhere. The manner how this action hath been borne, here at more leisure may your highness read, with every course in this particular.
Oh, Westmoreland, thou art a summer bird, that which ever in the haunch of winter sings the lifting up of day. Look, here's more news.
From enemies, heaven keep your majesty, and when they stand against you may they fall, as those that I am come to tell you of. The Earl Northumberland and the Lord Bardolph, with a great power of English and of Scots, are by the Sheriff of Yorkshire overthrown. The manner and true order of the fight, this packet, please it you, contains at large.
And wherefore should this good news make me sick? Will fortune never come with both hands full, but write her fair words still in foulest letters? She either gives a stomach and no food, such as the poor in health, or else a feast and takes away the stomach, such as the rich that have abundance and enjoy it not. I should rejoice now at this happy news, but now my sight fails. My brain is giddy. Oh, me, come near me. Now I'm much ill.
Comfort your majesty.
My royal father.
My sovereign lord, cheer up yourself. Look up.
Be patient, princess. You do know these feats are with his highness very ordinary. Stand from him, give him air, he'll straight be well.
No, he cannot long hold out these pangs. The incessant care and labour of his mind hath wrought the mure that should confine it in, so thin that life looks through and will break out.
The people fear me, for they do observe unfathered airs and loathly birds of nature. The seasons change their manners as the year hath found some months asleep and leaped them over.
That the river hath thrice flowed, no ebb between, and the old folk, time's doting chronicles, say it did so, a little time before that our great grandsire Edward sicked and died.
Speak lower, princess, for the king recovers.
This apoplexy will certain be his end.
I pray you, take me up and bear me hence into some other chamber. Softly pray, let there be no noise made, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favourable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for the music in the other room.
Set me the crown upon my pillow here.
His eye is hollow, and he changes much.
Less noise, less noise.
Who saw the Duke of Clarence?
I'm here, brother, full of heaviness.
How now? Rain within doors and none abroad? How doth the king?
Exceeding ill.
Heard he the good news yet? Tell it him.
He altered much upon the hearing it.
If he be sick with joy, he'll recover without physic.
Not so much noise, my lords. Sweet prince, speak low. The king your father is disposed to sleep.
Let us withdraw into the other room.
Wilt please your grace to go along with us?
No, I will sit and watch here by the king. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Polished perturbation, golden care, thou keep'st the ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now, yet not so sound and half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely biggin bound snores out the watch of night. O Majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armour worn in heat of day that scolds with safety. By his gates of breath there lies a downy feather, which stirs not. Did he suspire, that light and weightless down perforce must move. My gracious lord, my father, thy sleep is sound indeed. This is a sleep that from his golden rigol hath divorced so many English kings. Thy due from me is tears and heavy sorrows of the blood, which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall, oh dear father, pay thee plenteously. My due from thee is this imperial crown, which, as immediate from thy place and blood, derives itself to me. Lo, here it sits, which heaven shall guard, and put the world's whole strength into one giant arm. It shall not force this lineal honour from me. This from thee will I to mine leave, as 'tis left to me.
Doth the king call? Warwick, Clarence, the king awakes.
What would your majesty? How fares your grace?
Why did you leave me here alone, my lords?
We left the prince, my brother here, my liege, who undertook to sit and watch by you.
The Prince of Wales. Where is he? Let me see him.
This door is open. He's gone this way.
He came not through the chamber where we stayed.
Where is the crown? Who took it from my pillow?
When we withdrew, my liege, we left it here.
The prince had taken it hence. Go seek him out. Is he so hasty that he doth suppose my sleep, my death? Find him, my lord of Warwick, chide him hither. This part of his conjoins with my disease and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are. See how quickly nature falls into revolt. When gold becomes our object. For this, the foolish, over-careful fathers have broke their sleeps with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. For this, they have engrossed and piled up the cankered heaps of strange achieved gold. For this they have been thoughtful to invest their sons with arts and marital exercises, when like the bee calling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and like the bees are murdered for our pains. This bitter taste yields us engrossments to the ending father. Now where is he that will not stay so long, till his friend's sickness hath determined me?
My lord, I found the prince in the next room, washing with kindly tears his gentle cheeks, with such a deep demeanour in great sorrow, that tyranny, which never quaffed but blood, would by beholding him have washed his knife with gentle eye drops. He is coming hither.
But wherefore did he take away the crown? Lo, where he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber, leave us here alone.
I never thought to hear thee speak again.
Thy wish was father, Harry, to that thought. I stayed too long by thee, I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for my empty chair, that thou wilt needs invest me with mine honours? Before thy hour be ripe? O foolish youth, thou seek'st the greatness that will o'erwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind, that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which, after some few hours, were thine, without offence, and at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hitst 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, when which thou hast whetted on thy stony heart, to stab at half an hour of my life. What? Canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone, and dig thy grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear that thou art crowned now that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my officers, break my decrees. For a time is come to mock of form. Henry the Fifth is crowned. Up vanity, down royal state, all you sage counsellors hence. And to the English court assemble now from every region apes of idleness. Now, neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins, the newest kind of ways? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall give him office, honour, might, for the fifth Harry from curbed licence plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall fletch his tooth in every innocent. Oh, my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows, when that my care could not withhold thy riots, what wilt thou do when riot is thy care? Oh, wilt thou be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thy old inhabitants?
Oh, pardon me, my liege. But for my tears, the most impediments unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke, ere you with grief had spoke, and I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown, immortally long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honour and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most true and inward duteous spirit teacheth this prostrate and exterior bending. Heaven witness within me, when I here came in and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live, to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, think you were, I spake unto the crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore, thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other, less fine in character, is more precious, preserving life, in medicine potable. But thou, most fine, most honoured, most renowned, hast eat the bearer up. Thus, my royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that hath before my face murdered my father. The quarrel of a true inheritor. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let heaven for ever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
Oh, my son, heaven put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst join the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry, sit thou by my bed. And hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. Heaven knows, my son, by what bypaths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation, for all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honour snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gain of it by their assistance, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears thou seest with peril I have answered, for all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument, and now my death changes the mood. For what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort. So thou the garland wearest successively. Yet though thou stands more sure than I could do, thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green, and all thy friends, which thou hast make thy friends, have but their stings and teeth newly taken out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I might well lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, least rest and lying still might make them look too near unto my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action hence borne out may waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, O heaven forgive, and grant it may with thee in true peace live.
My gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me, then plain and right must my possession be, which I, with more than with a common pain, against all the world, will rightfully maintain.
Look, here comes my John of Lancaster.
Health, peace, and happiness to my royal father.
Thou brings me happiness and peace, son John, but health, alack, with youthful wings is flown from this bare withered trunk. Upon thy sight, my worldly business makes a period. Where's my Lord of Warwick?
My Lord of Warwick?
Doth any name particular belong unto the lodging where I did first swoon?
'Tis called Jerusalem, my noble lord.
Lord be to heaven. Even there my life must end. It hath been prophesied to me many years I should not die but in Jerusalem, which vainly I suppose the Holy Land. But bear me to that chamber, there I lie, in that Jerusalem shall hurry die.
Such a scene. Well, we're now going to do one last little bit, just to conclude one story, one more part of story from Henry IV Part 1, because there is the entire tale of Hal and Falstaff. Now, because we needed a lot more people, we're just doing a little bit of the final scene. But Hal is just being crowned, and some of his old friends have come to greet him and wish him well as the new king. And what could possibly go wrong with that?
There roared the sea and trumpet clangor sounds.
Save thy grace, King Hal, my royal Hal!
The heavens thee guard and keep, most royal imp of fame.
Save thee, my sweet boy.
My Lord Chief Justice, speak to that vain man.
Have you your wits? Know you what 'tis you speak?
My king,
Know
my
you what
gently,
'tis you speak?
I speak to thee, my heart.
I know thee not, old man. Full to thy prayers. How ill white hairs become a fool and jester. I have long dreamt of such a kind of man, so surfeit swelled, so old and so profane. But being awaked, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. No, the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Reply not to me with a fool-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive that I have turned away my former self. So will I those that kept me company. When thou dost hear, I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then, I banish thee on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 mile. For competence of life, I will allow you that lack of means enforce you not to evil. And as we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to our strengths and qualities, give you advancement. Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of our word. Set on.
Master Shallow, I owe you £1,000.
So, with that moment of sadness, we are going to pass on from Henry IV, and the company will continue to prepare Henry V for you. Falstaff will be back with us in January in Merry Wives of Windsor when we restart the year with some fun and games in Windsor. But for now, that's the end of Falstaff's story for us. I hope you've enjoyed these little snippets of Henry IV Part 2. It just, it keeps the story going. And we will be seeing you for Henry V on the 17th. And then we'll be back again in December with more scenes and another unknown play. We're going back to Monday with Sir John Oldcastle. So we'll see how that goes. Wishing you all a most excellent November. Thank you so much for your patronage. We so deeply appreciate it. And wishing you all very, very well until I speak to you again. Take care, everybody.